I mean, I really thought I was just gonna, drown in my own house.
A lot of anger, it's a lot of frustration. It's a lot of fear, sadness, emptiness, mainly helplessness.
I haven't seen my kids. I'm tired. I'm hungry. Still have no power.
Just really love who you got because you really don't know when they're gone.
We can rebuild the stuff, we can rebuild the buildings, we can replace things, but we can't replace the people.
Don't know how we're going to get through this, but somehow we will.
We know that the people here are determined and resilient.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us for this WECT special, Helping After Helene. I'm Frances Weller. Over the next 30 minutes, we will hear from people who have lost everything, some still searching for missing loved ones, and first responders and volunteers on the ground right now. But most importantly, we will explore how you can directly help people in Western North Carolina, people who desperately need your assistance. One of those ways is through WECT's own Helping After Helene donation drive. We have teamed up with the American Red Cross to ensure you can safely donate and help our neighbors in the mountains. Call the number that you see on your screen right now, or scan the QR code with your cell phone and pledge what you can. No amount is too small, and of course, no amount is too much. That number is 855-511-4483. Again, it is 855-511-GIVE. You can also donate on WECT.com/strong. WECT.com/strong. We've seen the power of donations and compassion from other communities during our own times of trouble, and now is the time for us to do our part. Our donation drive has already been active for a few days now, and let's get a check on where we stand right now. We are at this point over $35,000. That's an incredible sum at this point, but we know with your help we can do so much more. We have 2 weeks to get these donations in, but we certainly need your help right now. Joining us now in the studio is Mike DeCenti and David Howell from the American Red Cross. Thank you, gentlemen, for being with us today to raise this very important money. Mike, I'm going to start with you. You know, we have seen over the past week a convoy of people with trucks and planes going to the western part of North Carolina, taking lots of supplies, helping our neighbors who have been devastated by this unbelievable storm. But you say what is needed most right now is money. Why is that?
Well, Frances, first off, thank you so much, and thank you for WECT and your viewers for hosting this event. As you said, here in Wilmington and on the coast, we often get the support from others because of storms. The people in Western North Carolina, although prepared for this storm, may not have been expecting what happened. And it is catastrophic, and it's going to last a long time. The reason we say money is the best donation right now, because it's the easiest and fastest way to get it into the hands of the Red Cross. Our #1 priority right now is sheltering and feeding. At our high point, we had upwards of 60-some shelters just in Western North Carolina with thousands of people that we were taking care of. And that takes manpower, volunteers from not only North Carolina, but from all around the country. We have 150 North Carolina volunteers working in Western Carolina, and another 700 from around the country. What you spoke to earlier, the Red Cross bringing people in to help the neighborhood that's been affected. So we have to get these people here, we have to set up these shelters, and then feeding is a big priority. Not only have we been feeding at the shelters, but now that we got the okay from local emergency management officials, we're able to go into those harder hit neighborhoods and start delivering hot meals.
All right. let me ask you this, David. The Red Cross, needless to say, is first on the scene and will be there for the duration. I also want to say this because there are folks who are questioning whether or not you're going to leave the western part of North Carolina and head to Florida because now we're looking at Hurricane Milton. The answer to that I'm hearing is no. What I want to ask you though, David, is folks out there want to know that the money they're donating right now will help the folks impacted by Helene.
That's a fantastic question, and again, thank you for having us here. The answer is yes. All the funds that are associated with this telethon that y'all are putting on for the benefit of so many are fund coded. This is internal speak for Hurricane Helene. So all the funds that are raised here are going to go to help those who are impacted by Hurricane Helene. So our neighbors in Western North Carolina are going to receive help from this telethon. I think I told you earlier, the last time I was here was right after Hurricane Florence.
That's right.
And just a quick note to say that everybody who gives to this telethon is helping a vast amount of people who really need help, and they need it now. And like you said, we are not leaving Western North Carolina anytime soon.
All right. Well, I just want to say, we can't say enough about the Red Cross. You are always there when there is a need for blood donations. The Red Cross is always there. You're the reason for the blood drives. So thank you for what you do. We're going to raise some more money now, so I'm going to get back to work. Thank you both for being here.
Yeah.
All right?
Thank you, Francis.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, while the Red Cross and volunteer groups from around the country lend a helping hand, we're also hearing from first responders in southeastern North Carolina who made the journey to the western part of the state. WECT photojournalist Ryan Carresco spoke with them about the physical toll and the sheer emotion of this unspeakable tragedy. Take a look.
Before we headed up to McDowell County, I said, I've just got a really bad feeling about this storm, and it's so much worse. It is absolutely just devastating. There's buildings that are gone, all the vehicles are gone.
Up there, they're wiped from the earth completely. It's a giant pile of pickup sticks.
It's all the way as far as you can see. It's that bad. Old Fort was a small town that butts up next to a river, and there's a very, very sharp bend in that river there, and once it crested the banks, it made a completely new river that went straight through that town.
A lot of them that wanted to get out when they found the situation becoming something that was a little overwhelming, they couldn't. So either roads were washed out or trees were blown over the road or whatever, so staying in one spot was the best option they had. But even if you tried to prepare to your best ability, you still wouldn't have been enough.
We'd help people out of their homes, get them to high ground, and we would turn around and come straight back, and that house is gone now, and you never saw that house again.
These people had all right to be down and in the dumps and, you know, soaking in their own devastation, worrying about themselves, where their family's going to stay for the next couple of days, what they were going to do for the next couple of days. Their number one priority was taking care of their neighbors. There's always somebody who's probably got it worse. So
it was incredible to see how neighborly everybody was. We would go to one house, you would see one person waving, and you'd get there and there would be 15 people inside that home, and it was just they had the highest ground, so they invited all their neighbors.
It's a humbling, overwhelming sense of emotion. I've been doing this job for a long time, and this is definitely the highlight of my career.
You're feeling helpless, and you're not even the person missing, so you can only imagine how helpless they felt in their situation. I think that's what's killing me the most right now.
The sad reality is not everyone was able to be rescued. You just heard Matt Cloyd, who is looking for his dad, Stephen. He was swept away in the floodwaters. The storm has already killed more than 100 people in our state, and hundreds are still missing. That's just one of countless heartbreaking stories throughout the state as rescue missions now focus on recovery. Carly Haynes talked with one man from his hospital who's fighting through the pain and the grief for any word on his missing wife.
In Avery County, moments on a mountain flipped worlds upside down.
I mean, within an hour, my entire life changed for the rest of my life.
Jamie Gwynn talks to us from a hospital bed. His back is fractured. His heart is broken.
I guess definitely love who you got because you really don't know when they're gone.
For Gwynn, that's his wife, Melissa. The roof over their heads now sits on slats of wood. Gwynn remembers when it started crumbling.
I just remember being, I guess, crushed by the house falling all around me, and I can remember thinking in my head, I guess this is how I'm going to die.
Then movement. A mudslide took their home off of this cliff into the river below.
And I could hear my wife, and all I can remember is her screaming, "Babe, watch out."
Enough warning for Gwynn to grab their son before another mudslide.
And when I got right behind my little boy, I started screaming for my wife because I couldn't hear her anymore. And he turned and looked at me and he said, "Daddy, I think Mommy's gone."
Melissa Gwynn. Funny, hardworking, and a victim of Helene.
And no matter how much money you got, clothes they collect, anything, it won't bring them back.
At last check, neither Stephen Cloyd nor Melissa have been found, along with hundreds of others still missing, leaving their families to hope, wonder, and worry about what became of their loved ones. Our media partner, WHQR, is partnering with us to help raise money for the American Red Cross. Ben Shopman is here now. Ben, you and I have talked about this. We've seen the gut-wrenching video. We've heard the awful stories. You just heard one. You know, your immediate instinct is to help, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, and if you've been out in the community, it's what I've heard about every single day, every hour, is people want to know, what can they do? Some people know someone with a truck or a helicopter, but most people are just sort of thinking, what can I do?
And so, you know, I put on Facebook, what can I do? What do you all want to do? And I'll be honest, it was Ben's idea to do a telethon type broadcast, and that's why we're here. What message do you have for our viewers as well as your listeners at WHQR?
I've heard from you. I know you are caring, generous people, and this is a horrifying tragedy. It seems overwhelming, and you might have $5 and think, what could $5 do? Well, if everyone in New Hanover County gave $5, we'd be a lot closer to recovery. So it doesn't matter how much you have. I think the important thing now is the show of support from the community.
Absolutely. And we were just talking with the guys from the American Red Cross. We are now looking at Hurricane Milton. Yes, the Red Cross will go to Florida once Hurricane Milton makes landfall, but they're not going to leave Asheville or other parts of the western part of the state. We still need to continue to support the Red Cross.
Absolutely. I think that's the most important part. If you've lived here for a minute, you remember Florence. And you remember there was a lot of pop-up efforts to help out. And those efforts trailed off. People had to go back to their lives. But the Red Cross stuck around. The Red Cross always sticks around. And I think that's why we thought they would be the best partner for this.
Well, Ben, you're a great media partner. Thank you for being with us. And hopefully we're going to raise a lot of money.
I hope so, yeah.
All right. Coming up, a couple that lost everything in the storm holds out hope they can rebuild. But it's going to take help to do that. Stay with us as WECT's Helping After Helene continues.
after Helene.
The images we have seen from western North Carolina have been unbelievable. Literally unbelievable. This is a before and after of Chimney Rock, a once picturesque mountain town that's nearly wiped off the face of the earth. It's one of many that are unrecognizable now and sadly changed forever. For those caught in the crosshairs of Hurricane Helene's power, survival was always the goal, but it wasn't a given. Kennedy Harris explains, now that the storm is gone and the water has receded, what's left behind and what's not is daunting for many.
Adrenaline held the door shut at Kathy and Richard Poole's home.
I hold my foot like that, my knee right there, and my head there.
Fending off rushing floodwaters in the home they've loved for the past 4 decades.
She really fought it.
Yeah.
I'm proud of her.
That was why I was put on this earth. My husband would have drowned if I hadn't been here that night.
Black Creek raged during Helene, striking yards away. Scars remind Richard Poole of that brawl.
You see how beat up my legs are? That's the debris underneath the water rushing. I mean, like 10 or 15 miles an hour, and hit me, and it just kept knocking me down.
But it didn't knock him out. They won that fight.
Luckily, I was, was able to get back up, and I didn't drown in my own backyard.
Behind the tears, he knows this isn't their only battle.
Her and her daughter and her brother all had cancer at the same time, and we lost her daughter and lost her brother. But she's still here. She's tough.
Good Lord left me here for a reason to help.
You can really see the strength of that storm. This is part of the road here, collapsed by the force of that flood water. And this home here, you can see the way that the water tried to pull it from its place. Richard Poole tells me that many of his neighbors have left seeking shelter in safer places, but he tells me that they have nowhere to go.
Mainly what they needed for the moment was packing up things. They didn't have boxes, so we got boxes and totes and brought those.
Meanwhile, damaged water lines make water scarce, and mold makes their home unsafe.
Just not sure I'm going to be here long enough to see it get fixed back.
One thing's for sure, she'll never stop fighting.
Don't know how we're going to get through this, but somehow we will.
Of course, people here have already been donating where and when they can. We talked to church groups, first responders, nonprofits, and businesses that are doing their part to make life a little easier for those in western North Carolina. Tonight, we're getting a first-hand look at the situation in western North Carolina and how your donations are making an impact. Here's the executive director of the American Red Cross of the Cape Fear area, James Jarvis.
Hey, I'm James Jarvis, the director of the Red Cross in Wilmington, North Carolina. I'm actually here in Weaverville, which is in Buncombe County, right next to Asheville. I've been here since before the storm, and the need up here is great. It really is. We've got 14 feeding sites all around the community, much like the one you see behind me. We sheltered more than 900 people last night in 29 shelters. And we're also working hard on reunification. We've got a team of 200 people that are focused on reconnecting people with their loved ones. And so these things are only possible thanks to the generosity of our donors, people just like you helping to support our mission so we can provide hot meals to people so that we can shelter them when they don't have anywhere else to go. And this is only thanks to our friends with WECT and the folks there in the community in Wilmington and across the country. So if you can help us, please do so. We want to continue to do this. We're also going to be giving financial assistance to those whose homes had major damage or were destroyed. So those are the things we're going to be doing. A lot of work's going to have to happen here. There's still 73,000 homes in the Buncombe County area without power today, and we're now 9 or 10 days after the storm. So the needs are great. This community really needs help, and so if you can help us, please do. Thank you so much.
Ahead, a major donation coming into our studio. We'll find out why giving big to the American Red Cross was so easy.
after Helene.
We have already seen people donate what they can to WECT's Helping After Helene drive, though no donations have been larger than what we received from Encino in Wilmington. Joining us now is Cal Metzger-G of Encino. He is the philanthropist specialist, meaning if you're going to ask Encino for money, you're going to have to go through this guy. You know, you all get asked a lot. Encino, undoubtedly one of the biggest givers in the community. Clearly, you have to say no at times, but you say this was an easy yes. Why is that?
Yeah, so with being headquartered here in Wilmington, North Carolina, we're obviously no stranger to hurricane devastation. So when we started to hear about the devastation that our Western friends had experienced from Hurricane Helene, it was an obvious yes to us that we wanted to support it. A lot of our Encinoites actually jumped in and started doing independent fundraisers. They actually gathered some goods and resources that they could deliver to Western North Carolina, as well as just finding volunteer opportunities to have a more active involvement in that support. About a week before Hurricane Helene had hit the western part of the state, the Red Cross was actually on our campus, and one of the topics of discussion was emergency disaster relief. And in parting, they had asked us if we would be willing to answer a call in time of dire need if they needed it. And so that was an obvious yes for us. As a global company, we have several employees and customers that were in the path of Hurricane Helene. And so it's a big part for us to actually step up and offer our support in this time of need. One of our core values is do the right thing, and to us, this is the right thing all the time.
And now for the moment we've been waiting for, the check presentation from Encino in the amount of, look at this, $20,000. Cal, explain this.
Yeah, so Encino is very eager to offer $10,000 to support, in addition to the generosity of our CEO, Pierre Nade, matching that at an additional $10,000 for a total contribution of $20,000. In addition to all of that, we're still going to support our employees in ways that they can find to stay active in the support efforts to our neighbors in Western North Carolina.
All right. Well, on behalf of our neighbors in Western North Carolina, the American Red Cross, and WECT, thank you to Encino and Pierre Nade.
Thank you.
Again, here is what you need to make a donation tonight. Call the number on your screen or scan the QR code on your screen. The number to call is 855-511-4483. Again, that is 855-511-4483. 4483, by the way, is give. You can also donate to WECT.com/strong. All right, let's take a final look at where we stand with donations. Drum roll, please. We are getting close to $40,000 in donations, and that's just with online donations. That number will absolutely go up when donations from callers are added in. These are just numbers from what we have online. Remember, you can donate here over the next 2 weeks, and we will keep you posted on where the overall donation amount stands. We certainly appreciate you joining us for this very special edition of WECT News at 5, Helping After Helene. A special thank you to all of our donors. Thank you for your support. Again, this will go on for the next 2 weeks. You can ask your family and your friends to give. Remember, the Red Cross is always there, first on the scene and the last to leave. We're going to leave you with another look at those donation totals. Thank you.